Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello, Joy, and all the other members. Happy Blessed Sunday. Hi, Rita. How are you today? Are you doing good? All right. I was waiting for a few more people to come on. Having a good Sunday. I'm hoping. All right. All right. So this one's going to be a very busy one today. So I'm going to get busy here in a few minutes. So in the meantime, while waiting for just a few more people to come on, we're going to play a little bit of Reconsider Baby by Civil Nora. All right.
Well, so long. Oh, how I hate to see you go. Well,
Hi,
so
Sandy.
long,
How are you
so
today?
long, baby. Oh, how I hate to see you go.
Everybody hear that?
Well, the way that
Hi,
I will miss
Julianne.
you.
How are you today?
Child, I guess you'll never know.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why I can't hear you.
You said you once said love me,
myself.
but now I guess you changed your
All right.
mind.
Anyway, I guess I'll have to listen to it later.
You said you once
Is everyone
said love
hearing
me.
the music okay?
Yeah, but now I guess you changed your mind. I'm gonna let you go ahead on home now, baby. Pray that you come back home sometime.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. Okay, good. Good, because I can't hear it on this side. I don't know why. So, all right, I'm going to stop it for now. Okay, good. All right, so I've got a lot here. There is so much in the rest of this chapter. I'm going to jump right into this. We're going to finish the chapter. Chapter 6, part 2, or, section 6, part 2. All right. So did he stage his own death, part 2? And I'm going to start out. We finished with, let me go back here and make sure that I'm in the right spot. Where they talked about the gentleman that encountered him, and he says, "Man, you don't see me, okay? Or you ain't seen me, okay?" So we're going to start off there, right? And she said that to the Elvis TBC fan club in Chicago around 1981 or 1982, a telephone call was received from a man who sounded like Elvis Presley. He thanked everyone and then repeated his familiar lyrics, which ended with, "This too shall pass away." Not just as one cannot see the face on the album recordings, one cannot see a face over the telephone. All of these sightings and all of these telephone calls to the fans, to DJs, to columnists, to me, all could indeed be an elaborate put on. Much of this could be dismissed if not for other facts. We must also remember that the fans must meant a lot to Elvis. In the interview Elvis did in 1962 on a movie set, he stresses the importance of fans. It could not be out of line for him to continue to call them or notify them of his presence. They, for the most part, do not believe Elvis died, a belief continually reflected in their newsletters from the Elvis special. We have received startling news from 4 different people in Louisville, Kentucky. A TV news program ran a story that a plane has been found registered to Elvis and apparently been lived in by an unknown person. The plane is large with all the comforts of home and even has a swimming pool area. People are asking if Elvis is living in it. I don't think so, but you never know. All right. Under this section, Elvis's death, comments, and questions, I want to tell you something about the name Civil. We went to the EP Museum down here in Orlando, Florida, and saw a name band in display case was on Elvis's wrist, and the name was Civil, and I was shocked. That's Kay Ferguson, the Prestolites. Many have said the body brought to Baptist Memorial Hospital was not Elvis. So she's going to go through some miscellaneous information here and some questions. She's going to continue to ask questions. So we're just going to bear with me. And then what I'll do is just go over some stuff based on the slides. His contract with Colonel Parker was about to expire. Coincidence? This may sound like an off the wall statement, but if Elvis could pull it off, if he did it, I think the one person who knew about it and maybe masterminded the whole thing was Colonel Tom Parker. C. Rose, Elvis Memorial, Hawaii. Okay. The Elvis special comments as to why Elvis would go through so much trouble to hoax his death when he could have simply retired. Do you really think the fans would have left Elvis alone if he had retired? Even if he stated ill health as a reason? They never left him alone when he was in the hospital or had to cancel a Vegas Tahoe stint due to ill health. The fans followed Elvis everywhere, regardless of Elvis's feelings. We know of several instances where Elvis fooled his best friends and his fans by disguising himself and even on occasion having a double. I found the next comment a shocker. It was in regards to a statement made by Dee Presley, a former stepmother of Elvis. In 1978, Dee Presley told us that she thinks Elvis called her on the telephone. He didn't identify himself, but he knew things only Elvis would know. More questions from the Elvis special. Elvis visited the dentist on the 16th. Why weren't there any traces of Novocaine in his system? If Elvis's heart was so enlarged, how was it possible that he could play racquetball for hours on the 16th? Why is it that Elvis had so little money in the savings account and over $1 million in his checking account? Easy access? And where is the rest of his money? Elvis had more property and assets than were listed by the inventory. What happened to them? Were they sold prior to August 16th? By whom? Why were we, the Elvis special, personally asked by Vernon Presley not to come to Memphis for the funeral, but to come a week later? Why was the date of Elvis's will crossed off and changed by hand? Elvis's coffin weighed over 900 pounds. After talking to a mortician, combining Elvis's weight with the type of coffin, there are more than 300 pounds unaccounted for. For what was in there? So that was a lot of questions regarding his death and the day of his death. So I'm just going to go over some of these things on the slides here first, and then I'm going to go to the next slide. So what she has already revealed in this one half a page or so is that the phone call, it was a 1981 phone call. He, I guess, called his fans and told him, "This too shall pass away." There were many sightings, mysterious calls, and coincidences throughout the country, radio stations, people, other fans. They asked, why couldn't he just retire? And I think someone asked me that. Why would he stage his death and just retire? Well, there are a couple things. First of all, he would never get any privacy ever. He didn't have any privacy as Elvis. He needed surgery and he was sick. So if he were to retire, there would have been a big, huge, gigantic mess. He would still be hounded by the press, hounded by his fans. And I think that also the fact that he had to do what he had to do to keep himself and his family safe from the mafia, which I have like 3 videos, I think, or 4 videos about his work for the FBI and the DEA. We will cover a little bit of that today, but not a lot. But I have 4 videos about that. So if anyone wants to watch those, you may. There was some dangerous stuff that happened behind the scenes that nobody knew about that would have caused him to fake his death as well. All right. So Dee Presley claimed that she got a phone call from Elvis, and the guy on the phone said that he talked to her like nobody else would know this information. But then she backtracked later on when she was on Geraldo and said, oh, no, it wasn't him on the phone. Well, which one is it? Right? And there were more questions about the records that I just read. One of the main things that caught my eye was the question about his casket. I mean, if he only weighed 250 pounds and the weight of the casket alone, it would have been about almost 600 pounds. Well, if the casket weighed 900 pounds and they said it was very, very, very heavy, what else was in that casket along with the body and the weight of the casket? Well, it has been revealed that the body was wax and there was an air conditioning unit at the bottom of the casket. So that's what made it heavier. Anyway, I'm going to continue on because there's a lot in this chapter. I mean, it's very meaty. Okay, so then she goes into some of the things that these fan clubs have met up with his friends, 2 of his friends. So we're going to read these and then I'll continue on. So she said the inventory of Elvis's estate was done by court after Elvis's death, and it lists less than half a dozen pieces of jewelry. There were no photos. There was fake suede and leather furniture and clothing and mismatched crystal and silverware, etc. What happened to all of Elvis's jewelry and clothing? Where are all his favorites? So a lot of things they're asking about because a lot of it was missing. He took a lot of it with him, especially his photographs, some of his jewelry, things like that. According to Maria Columbus and Jeannie Tassum, co-presidents of the Elvis special, not only do many fans believe Elvis could be alive, but similar questions arise from in Elvis's circle. They said, we ran into Jerry Schilling, a close friend of Elvis, at the local airport restaurant about 1983. He was having lunch with A.J. Jardine of the Beach Boys and admitted that rumors were running rampant around among Elvis' group that he isn't dead, and he asked us to confirm. We just laughed and said, thought you were all such good friends. All right. So basically they're saying, well, why are you asking us? You should know that by now if you were such good friends. Right. All right. The Roustabout fan newsletter states that a Pennsylvania fan talking to Charlie Hodge, a close friend of Elvis, he told this person, Elvis hasn't left us. He's just changed his address. An odd choice of words, huh? Roustabout received a letter from someone who asked to remain anonymous because he would lose his job if he had his identity known. The letter states that this person had a friend who worked at the reservations desk at the Memphis airport. She didn't think too much about it at the time. She remembers that on August 17th, a man bearing a slight resemblance to Elvis picked up a ticket to Buenos Aires, which had been reserved under the name of John Burroughs. Knowing the death of Elvis the day before, she, of course, didn't think anything of it. But she told me later that although he wore dark glasses and wore rather plain looking clothing, Elvis was the first person she thought of when John Burroughs paid for that ticket. John Burroughs, remember that ticket to South America was bought the day after Elvis's death by a man called John Burroughs, who resembled greatly Elvis Presley. So remember, the date of the ticket being bought was day after Elvis died. Okay. It was the code, and John Burroughs was a code name that Elvis Presley used when he met with Richard Nixon. And he often used it to reserve hotel rooms with that name as well. The speculation as to why Elvis would fly commercial rather than use his private planes is because it would be noticed landing anywhere it went. If he had taken Lisa Marie or any of Elvis's other planes, he would have been noticed. Second of all, with all of the Elvis lookalikes in Memphis at the time of his death, he would not stand out at the airport. Like he could be on the airplane with other Elvis impersonators and no one would notice. So that was kind of smart. So Roustabout further speculates that since Elvis used that code name when he was appointed a special agent for the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, which is the DEA, he may have been issued items as a passport or birth certificate in that name. ID, all right. He could have had those things in that name. All right. Then some historians say Elvis used Burroughs spelling as well. Historically, there is another John Burroughs, a philosopher and thinker, and Elvis was a student of such these subjects that he may have used that for personal reasons. Maybe, maybe not. Roustabout quotes Charlie Hodge as mentioning he might be moving to Costa Rica. An odd place to live, huh? Okay. So, I mean, I really didn't think about that. That is really odd. Like, you know, of course, at the day after, and there is some confusion, but that would be very odd if a guy that resembled Elvis Presley came up to the ticket counter and I was behind the counter and he ordered plane tickets as John Burroughs. I think I would be like, what? You know? Yeah. So I pretty much wrote it out here on this slide. So I'm going to skip over to the next one. All right. So there's still more questions that she asks. Okay. Roastable also raised this point. I wouldn't want to suggest Elvis be getting rid of things he no longer need, but he sold his ranch on August 10th. And this, want to play Sherlock, what will you be obviously deduct from the following press clippings? A $23,789.73 claim filed against the estate of Elvis Presley for the entertainer's funeral expenses had been settled. Officials said today. Officials said that the moving of Gladys Presley, the singer's mother, were settled Thursday. They just dropped an atomic bomb that nobody caught on. Okay, read that again. It's as clear as a bell. The charges were for moving the body of Elvis's mother, not Elvis. Okay. Bernice received no such bill for his body. Did they move him for free out of the kindness of their hearts? Draw your own deductions. Okay, so this is about the moving the bodies from the crypt in the crypt to Graceland. And he only paid one fee, and that was to move Gladys to be buried with Elvis. Okay. So whether the fans their newsletters have their facts 100% correct is questionable. No one, and not even the major media sources, had been able to get correct information. That is interesting. What is interesting is that the fans' questions arise from the belief that Elvis is not dead. They also question as to why authorized Elvis merchandise was available for fans at Memphis on August 17, 1977. It was there in large quantities, a lot sooner than it had a right to be, they claim. In Indianapolis, the RCA Victor pressing plant was inundated with orders. It began to press Elvis's records at a rate of 250,000 albums or 200,000 singles a day. The expected demand was 100 million, based on the fact that 20 million were sold the day following Elvis's death. What these figures also mean is that 20 million discs were already in the stores waiting to be sold. Is it coincidence that on June 25th and June 26th, Elvis performed in Indianapolis? Well, this was approximately 6 weeks before his death. So I guess what she's trying to say is that there was a lot of records recorded and produced and sent out right away 6 weeks before his death, and a lot sold the day after his death as well. So many believe the August 16th, 1977 scheduled tour was for two reasons. One, an excuse to get merchandise ready for sale, and secondly, to have as many people as possible away from the mansion. Still, since only 12 shows were scheduled, 20 million discs is an incredible number. Whatever the numbers, whatever deductions one makes, the Elvis merchandising machine was in mind-boggling motion. And also ask this question: why would Elvis, so overweight and terrible looking, allow a $1 million television special during his last tour? The fans analyzed it was because he needed all the money possible and quickly. They also asked how a specially designed 900-pound coffin was flown into Memphis on such short notice. So what they're asking is, was the coffin ordered ahead of time? Because sometimes it takes a while. Like I said, between the death and the burial, there wasn't a lot of time, like a little bit of a wait or anything. So it's quick, very quick. And 900 pounds is a lot of weight. All right. So many fans tore to pieces the coffin photo, which appeared in the National Enquirer, saying Elvis has a forehead, nose, and chin, and he never had before. He said his forehead was too short, his nose looks different, his chin is different, all that kind of thing. They also found suspicious a singular episode of Elvis's leaving us the same week as his mother, the odds against that 52-1. Besides questioning cause of death, they wonder why Vernon, after having sold the Lisa Marie, continued to keep two of Elvis's planes, which are still making unscheduled, unannounced flights. And why did Elvis change his will only months before disinheriting all of his long-time friends and leaving everything to Lisa and Vernon, knowing that he would be outliving Vernon for decades? Also questioned the trips made by Vernon to the Dominican Republic. This falls in line with the John Burroughs South America story. I'm scratching my head at that because I really don't have proof on that. She doesn't really have the proof, I don't think, on here. I'll check, but I don't think so. But that's kind of weird. Questioned also with the anonymous donations in huge amounts to charities Elvis supported during his life. And the fans' questions go on and on. Why was he laid out in a cheap white suit rather than a familiar jumpsuit? And if the body was so heavy that it took 5 people to lift it, how was it possible for Ginger to turn the body over easily? In other words, she's saying there's 300 pounds unaccounted for in the casket. She doesn't get it. Why the consistent? I did not recognize him, and it did not look like him. The technicians, the nurses, the guards, the doctors. Why did the Memphis attorney state in regards to the 2 men arrested in the body napping episode, if they ever open up this can of worms, I'm afraid somebody is going to be embarrassed? While another writer stated publicly that the death of Elvis Presley was a story not over, that it could erupt into a national sensation at any time. The fans have the right to their questions. They loved and still love Elvis Presley. They know more about his habits, his tastes, his thoughts, and they probably know about their closest friends. And their questions are worthy of recognition. The fans of Elvis Presley are probably the largest captured market in the world. They are his golden hen, so that so many of them believe Elvis never died, and on August 16, 1977 is highly significant and could warrant a treatise in itself. At first, I thought this was a case of not wanting to believe their king was dead. Now I realize, because of what happened to my novel, Orion, together with independent media and investigation, the questions have validity. And so because Orion became scarce, the novel has become a collector's item. And in August 17, 1987 issue of People magazine featured the front page story of Elvis. 10 years later, the inside related story pictured a woman who started to collect a collection of Elvis memorabilia. Orion was pictured as a collector's item. So I'm assuming it's the book or the singing artist. Hello? Oh, there you are. All right, my screen went blank on me. All right. So I have a terrific input from Elvis fans such as Maria Columbus and Mary Lou Schuster. When I think I want to get on with other projects, they telephone and urge that I continue. They know my material is documented. They ask continually about what happened to the novel Orion. They believe Elvis Presley is alive, and they believe that the disappearance of the fictional book that shows how the death is hoaxed and the death of Elvis Presley is connected. They want to know the truth. And so do I, or so does she. All right. So that was the end of that chapter. Like I said, it was pretty meaty. I was a little surprised about the 2 trips from Dominican Republic by Vernon. I have no idea about that. Um, anyway, but a very meaty book and lots of questions in it. And I told you it was going to make us think. Not everything in the book is accurately done. Like I said, we had a problem with the book that was found in the bathroom. The name of the title of it was actually the wrong name and the wrong title. All right, because they were different in the that in this book. If I Can Dream, Elvis's own story. It was the book. It was called The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus, and that was um written in or copywritten in 1971, I believe. So her book isn't always super accurate, but it's got quite a few questions in it. All right, so I don't remember where I left off. I'm just gonna start over with the comments. All right, so that makes it easier. All right. Oops, I forgot to put my background in today. Oh well. Here we go. So hello and all, and happy Sunday, Rita says, and Dolores says hi to me, and hi Dolores again, and hi Francis, and everyone, and thumbs up from Francis and Norma. Hi, how are you, Norma? And Jackie? I remember seeing the D. Stanley on that. Yeah, I remember seeing D. Stanley on, I think, Geraldo. 1 minute she said, yeah, I heard from him, and the next minute she changed her tune. All right. Now, next one is they know who Elvis is in Costa Rica, so they would have recognized him, especially women fans. Probably. Unless he kept a very low key. But don't forget, he did not travel there. He did not tour there. So they only get pictures of him. So I don't know. Somehow he got there. I heard it was Buenos Aires. And then another what you may call it. Another source said it was Hawaii. So it could have been all those places. I think he toured all over the world for the first 3 or 4 years, from what I understand or gather. All right. Very interesting question. Also, he has life insurance never cashed in. Correct. Mm-hmm. Hi, Gareth. How are you? No problem. And like I said, if you guys joined late, you can always watch the recording later. It'll be on here forever. All right. Hi, Valerie. How are you? I'm going to reward your video. Oh, cool. All right. I'll take that. I'm not sure. I think maybe is that a Facebook reward? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, merchandise ready that quickly, only a day after his death. Very obvious. Yes, and also they said that the merchandise could have been already ready for his tour as well. So they tried to make it off as, well, he died before his tour, so we have all this merchandise. We'll just sell it the day of his funeral or the day after his death or whatever. But I think that's very suspicious. They also said something about the funeral felt, or actually like the place by the burial, where the mausoleum was like carnival. I think we read that maybe a couple episodes ago. Like a carnival like atmosphere, It didn't feel like a normal funeral. They said it was very like carnival like atmosphere. Even the colonel was dressed in like, shorts and Hawaiian shirt and hat and all that kind of thing. Not something that you would go to a funeral with. And he didn't look sad, you know? Didn't realize that the plane was sold was Lisa Marie. Is that correctly stated? Isn't the Lisa Marie still on display at Graceland? Was this statement a mistake? Okay, so I read like they returned the Lisa Marie back to Graceland like 10 years ago. It was on Linda's site. I'm not sure if it was sold to somebody else and they took care they were keeping it somewhere. I have no idea. It's like there was a long lost plane that disappeared as well. I don't know if that was the one that the um what's his name there? Pro remember his first my brain. Anyway, Edward Pro, I think that's his name. Um Supposedly rented and never returned or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was sold. I think it was sold and it was finally brought back to Graceland and is now part of the museum. I'll have to look it up on Linda's site. It might take me a while because her site is so large. I don't remember where or when I read it, but I know I read it. So, yeah. Lisa Marie's plane is on display at Graceland. Yes. And I think it was originally, like I said, it was brought there. So it was somewhere else. It wasn't at Graceland. I don't know if it was an airport or what. She could be wrong on that. I have no idea. Like I said, some of her information could be wrong. But did Joy just read that the Lisa Marie plane was sold? I do remember going on the Lisa Marie 2 times when I went to Graceland. Yes. And we're talking about like I said, this book was written in 1988. Let me see if she has any date on here when she was talking about that. Must have been in the early 80s or something, or maybe even late 70s. She said Vernon sold it. So it had to be before 1979. But that doesn't mean that they didn't buy it back or it wasn't gifted to them either. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like I said, I don't think she even has a record on that. Let me see what she's got here. Now, this is just all her Orion stuff. So, her book Orion stuff. Okay. I'm good. I'm glad you're fine, Norma. I'm glad you're fine. Okay. It's funny. All stuff ready to sell the next day. Sounds like they were in the know. Yes. Especially the Colonel. Don't forget what he said about the Colonel in his book. He said he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. And I do have a video about the Colonel being the mastermind. So if you guys haven't seen that video, I would suggest that you would go watch that video. So you can get more information on that. Colonel is the mastermind. I also have the same video, I think, on Facebook as well. But yes, he said he was a mastermind, the loyal friend, took the secret to his grave. He also helped with getting the connections with the other people involved, helped with picking the men involved in the plot and all that. The Colonel was very smart, I guess, in that because he did it himself, which we will probably read about that in the future about the Colonel. Maybe I think the next chapter might be focusing on the Colonel. So it'll be good. I saw somewhere that Elvis's favorite Bible went missing. I'm not sure. I know that they sold a couple of his Bibles because he had quite a few. I know they sold his Bible a couple times. Yeah. Carnival like? Sounds like very carnal. Yes. It was like a carnival. Sound like the carnival atmosphere. People from his fan club said that's what it was like. Yeah. And even like after when they went, like I think Maria Colombo, the week after, they said even like around the grave area, it was very carnival like. It wasn't like sad or anything. It's kind of weird. Wasn't the Colonel in the circus before he was Elvis manager? Yes. Yep. And if you watch that movie Elvis, he was like what they call the con man. He was a con man. Everything was like, a show, whatever they want to call it. He was Sandy. Wow. I find it hard to believe that E would have sold the Lisa Marie plane, but E did have 3 planes, and I believe one of the other 2 planes was sold to the bad guy. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure. I think it was Edgar P. Pro or something like that had supposedly bought a plane or rented a plane, and the check bounced and he ended up in court the day before he died. So, yeah, but I'm not sure. And it's not the Lisa Marie, but I think Lisa Marie, they said they were fighting to get it at Graceland. So I'm assuming that's what it was, that it was brought back to Graceland, was 10 years ago, I think. Elvis's funeral did seem very rushed. Yes, I mean, like, even my brother who passed away, okay? First of all, he had, he was in the hospital for a little while. Then he had to go to the funeral home. And it took like 3 days to plan his funeral, get his casket, do his wake, do his funeral. 2, 3, 4 days. Some people take a week, depends on funds and depends on what they're doing, if they're cremating or whatever. But the average funeral takes 3 or 4 days. I mean, I think even the body takes a while because they autopsy the body. I mean, look how fast the body went from the hospital on pronouncing dead to the funeral home. And it was the next day being shown at Graceland. And the casket comes right away. Something's not right to me. It was odd. The carnival type atmosphere at the cemetery was a very weird thing, not respectful at all. Yeah, I really don't know, but I'm thinking if he really had died, do you think there would have been a carnival like atmosphere? I don't think so. Glad that Lisa Marie is still at Graceland. It's an important memory item. Yes, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful plane. It is. Well, like I said, I don't know what happened between the time it was not Graceland all the way till it got to Graceland for the museum. I don't know. I don't know if they had to buy it at a separate time or what. No idea. It all happened too fast, especially after having the casket ready the day. Very unbelievable. Correct. And like flown in overnight. So that must have been ordered ahead of time. Sorry, I got my cat. She's getting in trouble here. So I'm going to hang on to her for a minute. But yeah, overnight. You know what I mean? Like That's crazy. And the wait. I mean, that would be like, what? All the rush on time with viewing, etc. of the body seems unreal. Correct. And I think that's why whatchamacallit, the fan groups questioned him being dead, because he really wasn't dead. Right. Hi, everyone from France. Hi. Bonjour. Comment ça va? That's about all I know about French. I'm sorry. That's all French I know. No, only a little bit. I hope you're doing well. All right. She's so cute. Oh, thank you. Her name is Stormy. She's a little storm too. She's got a great name. She gets into a lot of trouble. I wouldn't have named her Helena though. That was a horrible hurricane. But anyway, thank you. Oh, I'm glad you're doing good. She says she's good. Thank you very much. At least I know a little bit of French. I have some French genetics, so I'm from the United States. So anyway, all right. All right. So, if you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of views. I get a lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of favorites, but I'm lacking subscribers. So if anyone wants to subscribe, please subscribe, hit the notification button for future videos. And I'll read one more. What's this? Rita, I just feel Vernon had to know his son was alive under all the circumstances, but not denying E's story in his book. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's very conflicting information. And just like Gail just said in here, the information is conflicting. Like even like how it happened and all that kind of thing conflicts one another. So no one knows the real truth. But Jesse said 4 or 5 times that his father didn't know. So we're going to just honor his truth and say, okay, his father didn't know, but it just doesn't seem like with all the stories, it doesn't match his truth, you know. I love that kitty. Yes, she's grown so much, Rita. Rita's on my group, so she knows. She's seen her a few times. And she's grown. She's a grown cat now. She's not a kitten anymore. So. Have you heard from Linda recently about Jesse Elvis? Okay, so the last time I heard about... Okay, I'm going to put you down now. It's Stormy. All right. The last time I heard from Linda was about Jesse was Thursday, last week before the hurricane hit. And she said he was doing well, or sounded well. And then the hurricane hit, and then she wasn't back on till like Monday or Tuesday. Started posting again, but I don't know if she's heard from him recently. But as far as I know, he's doing okay or well for an 89-year-old man. So, yes, we're going to honor E's words. Correct. Even though we might have differing opinions with other eyewitness accounts, like I said, I asked, was it who I asked one day? I think it was Jim or something. Is there a possibility that maybe Vernon found out and Jesse didn't know? Because, Jesse was out traveling the world and doing other things before Vernon passed. Is there a possibility? He says probably. It could be a possibility. But Elvis didn't know. Either that or Vernon knew, but Elvis respected his father so much that he wanted his father's reputation to be kept intact as if he didn't know. And that could be a possibility too. because Elvis was very protective of his parents and his father and everything. Very respectful and loyal person. Yes, her name is Stormy, but I write it with an IE at the end. Um, because when we got her, she was about 3 months old, and she was little thing, and she was a bundle of energy. And she ran around the house, and she climbed all the curtains, and she made a mess, and she knocked things off the table. And my husband's like, she's in a little storm. We're gonna call her Stormy. she, she leaves a mess behind, and she still does. She gets up there quite often, and knocks stuff over all the time. Yeah, me too. I love cats. Yeah. I'm a cat person more than a dog. My father's got a dog, but all right. Oops. Jimmy says Google says that there were 2 planes were sold, one being Lisa Marie, but were repurchased in 2014. Right. So I'm not too far off. I said about 10 years ago. I was close. And they put him in they brought it back to Graceland and added it to the museum. So yeah, they had to sell off his planes because I think Vernon was freaking out because there wasn't much money. And all the money that was made from like album sales all went to RCA. None of it went to the estate because the colonel sold all his rights to RCA before he passed on, so he wasn't really making that much money either. He had to tour to make money. So they were talking about maybe even selling Graceland before Vernon died, but Priscilla stepped in and said, absolutely not. So that's a great name. Beautiful cat. Thank you. Wow, 4 cats. I have 2. I have another one. He's gold and white, but he's more like skittish and he likes to sit on my lap at night. He likes his belly rubs and all that kind of stuff. So, but he won't sit on my lap here because it's not enough space. He's a big cat. She causes a storm with you during your lives. She was all your attention. Yeah. She wants all the attention. All the time wants to be played with and stuff. We don't always have time for that, but we try. Is E aware of Lisa Marie's book coming out? I think so. As a matter of fact, Lisa Marie's book is coming out in 2 days? Okay, October 8th, 2014. We can do a quick numerology thing. I don't know if I got a notebook. I don't have a notebook here. I'll just use the back of this paper. Do a quick numerology thing. 10, 8 goes 2024, right? So 10 plus 8 is 19. 18. Okay. Now how she figured this out, I don't know. I don't remember. Oh no, we take the 0 off. So 1 plus 8 is 9. And 2024 equals 8. So 9 plus 8 equals 17. And 1 plus 7 equals 8. So Lisa Marie's book is coming out on an 8 numbered day. And that's Elvis's number. Or Jesse's number, 8. Actually, that was actually in on Linda's site the other day. She did numerology. She said there's numerology involved in Lisa Marie's book coming out. So the nay equals 8. So let's figure this out. So you would take 10, so you would take the 0, and you would add 1, which is 1 plus 8, right? And that equals 9. And then the year equals 8. So 2 plus 4 equals 8, right? And then she said you add 9 and you add 8 together, you get 17. And if you take that 1 and you add 7 together, you get 8. So the numerology in that book, I think Jesse Elvis has a thing in it. I'm gonna shut this. It's very bright. The sun is going down. I love the sunshine, but it's getting bright. Oh, there we go. That a little better? All right. So you ordered the book and you can't wait. I want you to let me know how you like it. And if you like it, Rita, and you recommend it, I'll order it. Okay? I have a lot of I don't always read all the time, so I try not to, because then I get caught up in reading and never get anything else done. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because numerology is always used in Elvis's life in planning everything. All right. Rita, you sure will? Okay, great. All right, you just message me on Facebook when you let me know. Okay, what's this? I read on the internet contrary that President Trump said he's going to free Elvis when he gets elected. Did you hear about that? Nope. I really don't know what that is about. All I know is President Trump gave him the Medal of Freedom already 5 years ago. Well, maybe 6, 7 years ago. During his first presidency, he gave him the Medal of Freedom. I don't know what that's about. I know I heard if he becomes president again, and I'm hoping he does, that he's going to look into JFK's assassination, or he was going to release all that information, but I really honestly do not know anything about that. Okay, so I really couldn't do that. All right, anyway. Sorry, Joy. Did you say that E is aware of the... Yes, E is aware of the book. And he knows about it. And it's actually, I think Linda's been like kind of plugging it on her site, saying, it's like it's gonna get. But what's interesting is the numerology and the date of the book's release. It's quite interesting. But yeah, he knows about it. I don't know what his feelings are about it, but he knows about it. And I don't know what's in it either. Yes, I wonder what that Medal of Freedom is all about too. Interesting. I think every president has a chance to give people that deserve the Medal of Freedom. I think like different genres, like there's the arts and there's sciences and all that kind of stuff. They get medals of freedom. It's a great honor. He deserves it. That's for sure. Yes, he knows about it. Billy Smith is so angry that no one from the family want to receive the medal for him. He said Elvis would have been so proud to receive it. I really don't know anything about that. Honestly, I don't. Maybe there was no room in the schedules for them to go there. Maybe there's reasons for that. It could be political. It could be safety issues. Don't forget, he did do work for the FBI and intelligence. So it could be safety concerns. We do not really know the reasoning behind that. But I'm going to say something. If Billy Smith really was that angry, I don't know why he didn't volunteer to go get it himself. But see, it's not that. It's because Elvis itself, the image, okay, the name, the branding of Elvis is now officially a brand. Okay, it's like the name is branded as well. So the person that represents the brand would go get it, even though he might be still alive. And that he would never do that. And I don't think his family, maybe they were never Trumpers. Who knows? We don't know the whole plan. We don't know reasons. Yeah, I think he was aware of the issue with Riley and Priscilla, but I guess that's all taken care of now and there's no more issues. It's a family issue anyway. And I think if Trump feels he is alive, he get it to him somehow or to the family member or waiting for him if he's being alive get revealed. And I don't even think he's going to get revealed. And the Medal of Freedom did go to EPE and it's at the museum. So EPE picked it up. I think it was Dick Sodden or whatever his name was, the CEO. It was the CEO of Elvis Presley Enterprises that received it. Correct. And nobody in the family went. Exactly. And I think I understand where you're coming from, Norma. I do understand that because, like they said, Lisa Marie could have gone or Riley or something. But like I said, they might have had other things going on. We just don't know. Or it could be other things. Or it could be the fear of being like found it out even. Who knows? He said he would have gladly went to receive on behalf, but they don't talk. I don't know. I don't really know. I think if I were to have a hunch, it was politically motivated. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think he had much of a say in it anyway because he can't come out. He can't go there anyway. So I don't know. It's weird. I think it was all over Linda's site. I don't remember what his reaction was. He was very honored by it, but he couldn't go. First, the family couldn't go for a reason. I can't remember what it was. But who knows? It could be just Democrat. I mean, it could be just they don't never liked him or something. Who knows? Be anything. All right. So I'm going to finish this with the rest of the Civil War song, Reconsider Baby. And if we don't have any more comments after that, I'm going to bid a goodbye. Hey, now I get the sound. Earlier I didn't get any sound from this song. That was weird.
so long to have to separate this way. We've been together so long to have to separate this way.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead on home now, baby.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah.
Yes, goodbye, Rita. Talk to you later. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You guys have a great night. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless you all and have a great weekend. I should be back I should be back probably Thursday night with another installment of Is Elvis Alive? And maybe I can get a video of something else out. I don't know yet. We'll see. Oops, hold on. I gotta get off this. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, day. I'm really glad I was able to catch the live show. You're very welcome. I try to do one live show on Sunday afternoons because it seems that's where a lot of my viewers are on. So I try to do that, and Thursday nights at 8 o'clock my time, which not all the viewers are on, but that's okay. You can always watch the recordings. Thank you very much. I'm glad you caught my live as well. Oh, Julianne, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye, Sandy. Until next time. Goodbye. Look forward to just next video and watch your videos. God bless you too. Yes, thank you. Thursday, 8 o'clock. Usually I come on, or 8 o'clock my time, which is different areas, different time zones. I will send out some type of announcement. StreamYard usually doesn't allow me to do like a day before. So I will send out some type of announcement on Facebook usually the day before. And then I will link this onto the Facebook. And this will go on to YouTube an hour or two before. If I do it earlier, that's great. But sometimes I don't get a chance to. Yeah, it's God bless you, and let's pray for the South. We're still dealing with a lot of things in North Carolina, Tennessee, floods, and all that kind of stuff. So let's keep them all in prayer. And Florida getting hit again with another one. So let's pray for all of them. And Lord, just have your will in everything. All right. Bye, everybody.